Okay. Whew. Wow. Hello, everyone. Hey, that was that was a down to the wire type thing. I found out that I was having audio problems again, and I found that out around an hour ago, and I spent the last hour working on trying to get it fixed. And then once I finally got that fixed, I had video problems too. And for some reason, Windows 10 decided to adjust my privacy permissions on me and deny camera access and uh, microphone access, but grayed out the settings in, wait for it, settings in Windows 10. So I couldn't change them easily. So I had to go into Policy Group Editor and find those settings and correct all of that. So to make a long story short, too late. We we got I started a couple of minutes late, so I'm sorry about that. Um, so yes, it has. But at least I know what the problem was. I'm wondering if some of that might have been my audio problems that I had a few weeks ago. That maybe that was a part of that. I'm not sure. But you know, Microsoft. What are you going to do? Okay, we'll just let you use your imagination. Hey, so hey everyone, Kathy, Damaris, Jan, Kurt. Wow, hey, and Alicia is here. Yay! Oh yeah, hey. And Katsurita. Yes. Wow. And Janine. Hey, on YouTube. Excellent. Oh, and man, you're on both. Wow. Okay. Good for you, Janine. So yes. So I'm glad I made it. I was about this close to saying, well, we tried, but yeah, I just got it all in time, just barely. And you know, generally that's how you try to set it up for all of your events, whether you're streaming or going to Faire or doing a show or whatever you do. You try to just get it so that worst case scenario, you have just enough time if everything goes wrong to somehow make it work. That's always the goal, and always nice when you can make that happen somehow. So anyway, well, I guess I should start by wishing everybody a happy, well, I guess depending on what state you live in the U.S. or internationally, either Happy Columbus Day or Happy Indigenous Peoples Day, because they're starting to become an interesting thing where even though Columbus Day is a federal holiday, some states aren't following it and instead emphasizing Indigenous Peoples Day, which totally get and is really cool. But yeah, it's kind of an odd dichotomy because in some ways these types of these holidays are kind of at odds. So that is that is interesting. That is interesting. So yeah. So whichever one you're celebrating, I hope you have a good one. I could talk more about the subject and the problems with both sides of that argument, but I'm a white male, so there's no way I could talk about this without digging a big hole for myself. So I'm just gonna not do that, and but yeah, Janina, I kind of agree with you a good bit on that. Just saying. Okay. Wow. Yeah, really wasn't sure I was going to pull this off today, so I'm so glad to hear. So glad it worked out. I am really glad it worked out. So yes, so yeah, Drew, how was TRF? How is that going? He said you were counting receipts. How was the first weekend? Please share. Well, in between counting, type in a little bit and let us know what you thought, because that is that is interesting. I mean, whenever anybody goes to a fair and you're on the show, please throw up a little comment about it. Very, very good. Well, okay, that's promising. I guess good audience, good receipts. Okay, nice. That is always a good feeling, and you know, in this sort of not say post-COVID, because I think that's wildly misleading. Let's just say waning COVID time, how, you know, if you still feel good about the group and how whatever they're doing to make sure everybody still feels safe, and is and that works. Yes, that's always a part of it. The little red rectangle that says "live" fixes everyone. Yeah, that's true. Um, okay, okay. Yeah, I guess after a long time, a long wait, and everything, first weekends in the fall here are going to be a lot more lively, and they're not going to be as muted. We always like to call first weekends at Fair, the second dress rehearsal day, because it's you always feel like, well, I mean, some people didn't go to an actual rehearsal, so for people who are traveling around and just got to town a few days prior to the opening day, you're trying to figure out where things are, show times, what works best, and nothing ever goes right. That's the general rule of thumb for any opening day, I suppose. But um, yeah, Damaris, I'm just hoping that we avoid COVID time part due. That's what I'm trying to. That's what I'm rooting for not happening. Yeah, definitely, definitely. Okay, well, yeah, it's it's an interesting. Fair is always interesting first weekend, and it's great to hear that that one was lively. Um, I'll be going to Louisiana in a few weeks, and we'll get to see how that fair is. I'm expecting it to be pretty lively too, because I know that a lot of people over there are really starving for entertainment. And as a very one thing I love about the Louisiana fair is the area surrounding it is very music focused. I mean, usually depending on what you do at fair, there are different emphasis. I mean, some emphasize the shops and the merchants, and that's great, and others emphasize certain types of shows, and others emphasize other types of shows. And some of that I think is because of the region it is, and um, sometimes the likes and dislikes of the owners of the fair. It can be that subjective, but yeah, I think I, with Louisiana, I know they've always emphasized music, more than most fairs is how I'll phrase it. Um, yeah, I think that's fair. So yeah, that's always been appreciated. So that should be a lot of fun, and I think a lot of the people in the area have not seen as much live music lately as they would have liked. So it should be a lot of fun. It should be a lot of fun indeed. Yeah, and Laisha is going to try to make it down. So I'm hoping. I'm hoping. Um, oh, and you're saying that you masked pretty diligently at TRF, but you're a rarity. So was it not a lot of masking going on? I figured there was still a good bit of that. Oh no, Alacia, coworker. Ooh, so you might not get the time off from work. Okay, well, we'll talk about that. We will talk about that because I'm trying to get her down as well. Everybody, trying to convince her. I think I might have been the one who gave her the idea initially, or at least uh, said, "No, please, you've got to." I was at least the first person to do that. I'm sure. So so hopefully she'll make it down somehow. Uh, and yeah, Jan, I can't wait to see you up there too because that will be cool. Oh, okay, that's fair. That's fair, Drew. That the TRF is what you're not sure what they're focused on. Yeah, I mean, I sometimes depending on what you do at TRF, I mean, you can be or any fair, you can kind of have your own little bubble, and you don't really see much out of it. I mean, that's not uncommon, especially for if you're a group, a performer. Sometimes you're at one stage the entire day, and you don't really wander around. So yeah, that that makes sense. It can really be that way. Hmm. Oh, Taylor, yeah, yeah. I mean, I didn't mean to imply that Louisiana is the only one that emphasizes music. There are certainly, yeah, I think Maryland they do too. Um, from what I've heard, I've actually have not been to Maryland yet. It's one of those on my list that I need to go to, but I know people who have. Um, Definitely. Oh wow. Okay, and Damaris is saying not much masking in Pennsylvania. Interesting. Interesting. Yeah, that is kind of an interesting thing to wonder. I mean, I'm sure there's still masking going on, so I don't think you're going to be ostracized for masking at these fairs. But still, it is interesting. Okay. Okay. Oh wow, Alacia, interesting. The Miguel County here in Colorado has a mandate. Yes, in Texas, not so much. Not so much. But we try. Austin is certainly more driven towards that than most, and I think that has helped a lot. Definitely feels like it. So, hoping it continues on with that trend, and yeah, that we kind of get past that. Chris, that is an interesting point because one of the things I've been working on feverishly the last few weeks is getting a Go bag for streaming remotely. And I think I mentioned before on one of my shows that my new phone, which is now looking pretty, I think I've got it configured how I want. Um, I've got unlimited data streaming can work. What I've noticed is it depends. Like in my house here, I actually have pretty bad signal, so I don't have a good upload speed. But if I go just a few blocks over, it's quite good enough for streaming. So I'm at a weird node, and I've known that for a long time. Several years ago, I ended up getting a booster just so I could make calls. They finally fixed that, but the data's never been that great. But I have internet here, so that's never been a problem. So what I'm going to run into is I've got to see what kind of speeds I get with my phone there where I'm staying and on site. And I might actually be able to live stream a few things while on site. We will see. Um, yes, I did change my ringtone. Thank you. I did. So we're back to we're back to one of my songs because yes, I'm that musician. I use one of my own tunes that I wrote as a ringtone. You got to do that, if you can, why not? But yes, yes. But no, I think, yeah, Chris, back to your question. Yeah, I am going to try to record some stuff. I actually don't really do shows at Louisiana, though. I don't have a stage. I am just busking all day, playing music in the lanes, just different tunes. It's never a full show. And I'll play for the cast if they want to do some dancing at some different points and play melodies for that and play at the front gate and just jam. So, no, I'm not staying on site at LARF Damaris, but it'll be close. I mean, I can stop by the site easily, so you never know. I might. But I've got a lot of options. I actually invested in a green screen. I know. I generally don't like them, but if they're done well, like Fugly, he actually does a pretty good job with his green screen. If you know how to use it, you can do a decent job. But the problem is, I think where I am, it's at 7 o'clock. If you go outside, lighting is not that great, so you can't really see well behind you. And yeah, I mean, I'm thinking about, I'm going to try a green screen and see if it works. If not, I won't. But it's going to be an interesting experiment to try some stuff. Damaris, you know what I thought about doing? I actually thought about taking video of really cool locations at Faire, or around the area, and then just putting that behind me the entire time. But doing it, maybe a little earlier in the evening, so it still looks like dusk, but it's not late night, and approaching it that way. I thought that might be it might be kind of fun. But yeah, yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, you get to a point where camping, Drew, is just. I mean, it is fun the first few years, definitely. But you either need to commit to camping and have a really good setup, or it's better not to. And part of the problem was my musical instruments. Um, they would usually suffer because of camping. It wouldn't be as much of a problem now as it was when I started because I used to play wooden recorders and they would just die. The humidity and everything would really kill them. It would. I had trouble making them last more than a year and a half, and some of those wooden recorders can be expensive. That's one of the reasons I switched over to plastic. But it's also, yeah. I mean, that was the main reason I stopped camping, and I never looked back. But I don't know. You got a point. I've kind of started wondering if maybe I shouldn't get back into that because I know there are some fairs that I don't do simply because I don't camp. And if I camped, it wouldn't be a problem. So I don't know. I don't know. Um, yeah, I know. With the rain and everything, yes, yes, yes. Yeah, plastic recorders are very, very nice. Wooden recorders, well, I mean, wooden recorders, I like them, but like here is a wooden recorder, and I think it sounds, it has a little more of an earthy sound, so you kind of get the whole, and it's just a little more of an earthy sound than you get with the plastic, but tone wise, it's still pretty close. So I've never really worried about it. Although on CDs, on recordings, I will often use a wooden recorder if I think slightly more earthy sound is warranted. And I'm quitting with the recorders then. So don't worry. Don't worry. I'm stopping there, Alicia. It's okay. It's okay. It's not like I keep recorders right next to me just in case y'all talk about them or anything. No, not I. And yeah, Drew plays recorder too. So, I mean, you got to have fun with recorder because it's an awesome instrument. It's a portable everything. It's great. It's great. I love it. I love it. Well, we should go ahead, I think, and talk about the fairs coming up because we actually lost a few fairs this last weekend. Some ended their run. They were short runs or started in August and ended. So we're actually down a few. 7 reasons to play plastic recorders. Kurt, I think that's going to be next week. I think that's going to be next week. Yes, yes. that is going to happen. I think that's next week. So you called it. Definitely, you called it. Okay. Let's see. Hopefully I got this right. Yes, I did. Okay. Whew, yeah, it was so last minute. I actually, while the intro was going up, that's how when I switched the map to go on here, that's how, wow, last minute it was. So there we go. Yeah, so we have, I think, 13? I think 13 fairs this week, as opposed to 18 last week. And we lost a few of the real central northern fairs. But a lot are still there, and we added a couple more new ones, so always fun. Let's jump right in. And here we go. Well, on the East Coast, of course, we have the Connecticut Renaissance Fair in Lebanon, Connecticut, and King Richard's Fair in Carver, Massachusetts again. We lost one of the Pennsylvania fairs, so we still have the Pennsylvania Renaissance Fair in Manheim, Pennsylvania. That's where Damaris is, enjoying herself. And a little more west, we have the Ohio Renaissance Festival still going on in Waynesville, Ohio. Going a little bit south, in the Maryland route near Annapolis, the Maryland Renaissance Festival. And a new one that opened up in Virginia, the Ravenwood Fair in Stevenson, Virginia, right in the very northern section of Virginia. So that's always fun. Then we go down to North Carolina with the Carolina Renaissance Festival in Huntersville, North Carolina, and jumping over to Tennessee, Harriman, Tennessee, to be specific, with the Tennessee Medieval Fair. So, yeah. Now, of course, we have the Kansas and Missouri fairs. So we have the Kansas City Renaissance Festival in Bonner Springs, Kansas, right just at the border between Kansas and Missouri. And then on the other side of Missouri, you've got the St. Louis Renaissance Fair in Wentzville, Missouri. And Alicia's saying, so I realized something about Carver, Massachusetts. I'm afraid. I'm really afraid. Now, of course, going down south in Texas, we have the Texas Renaissance Festival again this weekend. Technically in Todd Mission, Texas, but let's just say northwest of Houston and be honest about it. Then go onto the West Coast. Again this week we have the Northern California Renaissance Fair in Hollister, California, and a new one in Las Vegas, Nevada, the Age of Chivalry Renaissance Festival. So, yeah. A good number that's kind of spread out a little bit, and we will be adding a few more as the fall continues. Something to enjoy. And yeah, there is, Kurt, one in Virginia now. So that's why I do this, because I always figure that there's... it wasn't Kurt, that was Taylor. Okay, I looked up. So, yes, new festival in Virginia, Taylor. And it was... That's kind of why I do this. Because I figure that there are fairs that people don't know about. And there are plenty that I don't know about that come up and I'm like, oh, I didn't know that was there. So it's very interesting to me. And Chris, you're right. That's why some of the ones way up north, because when you start getting to towards October, that's when the cold fronts really start. So you're right. That is when it goes. And it's in Stevenson, Virginia, called the Ravenwood Fair. Chris and Taylor, right at the very, very northern part of Virginia. So actually pretty close to DC, all things considered. Although with their traffic, is anything really close to DC? Uproots magazine. I'm not sure I do. It sounds kind of familiar, but no, it doesn't ring a bell. Wow, Janine. Ooh, snow. Yeah, I don't really, I don't... I have done snow at fairs before, but the problem with musicians in snow at fair, you get to a temperature, I find that when it's below 50, your fingers just stop moving as fast over time. When it gets below 40, they really stop moving very fast. I mean, you can do it, but it starts to get hard. And when it gets below 35, it gets tough for the fingers to move, because you have to really fight it at that point, and it's not easy. It's not easy. Oh, Taylor, 20 minutes from DC without traffic. Well, then maybe, yeah, you might want to check out that fair. It's called Ravenwood Fair. So take a look. Oh, a festival tracking magazine for Rennies. Oh, yes. Drew, that's where I've heard of it before. Okay. Yeah. I always just kind of had my own list of fairs that I would go to, and usually one fair would contact me and say, hey, you need to come up to my fair, and then I would do that. And I kind of stopped scouting out new fairs very much, so I didn't pay as much attention, but I do remember that. Yes. Oh my gosh, all the snow y'all are getting, are going to be getting soon. That's just crazy. Always. Oh, speaking of going crazy, the time is flying by, and I still haven't done 7 Reasons, and that's a bad thing. So yes. I was thinking about 7 Reasons and what to do, and thought about, people who have injuries, and have to go to Faire, it's kind of interesting how you can adjust and try to make that a strength as opposed to a weakness. So 7 ways to make an injury work for your character at Faire. So here we go. Here we go. 7 ways. So number 7, bracers over arm casts. The obvious one. You know, you have the cast over here. You get some leather and or leather looking type thing and put it over, tie it around, and you've got bracers. And you know, it's really maybe a little more bulky than the normal bracer, but hey, it's a cast, so it's even stronger than the normal bracer. Never hurts. So yes. Yeah, I was not throwing you under the bus, Alicia, because you got an injury the other day. So I was trying to be nice, but since you brought it up, she was the inspiration. Yes. So number 6. Tie up sandals over socks over a leg cast. So you have a leg cast, and what you can do is get sandals and tie them, put socks over the cast, put those on there, and then on the other leg, try to make that look as beefy as similar a way, and with multiple socks or whatever stuffing you need, and then you kind of even them out, and next thing you know, it pretty much hides it completely if you do it right. So that's always a good route. So that's your arms and your legs covered. So always good. Yes, I was just saying that we should do the other side to match. I think so. I mean, I don't think you have to, but I think if you're trying to hide it, I think that's a good idea, and it's not that hard to do. Wow, this is the silliest? Boy, just wait, because I know they're going to get sillier than this. Number 5, cool walking sticks. I mean, come on. Okay, so you have cane, or maybe you're just at the end of needing a crutch, or something like that. You know, it's a good excuse to switch to a walking stick. I mean, a lot of people will use walking sticks mostly for decoration, just as a part of their character. But you can use them to help with walking, to relieve a lot of the stress on your legs. So, yeah, I mean, if you're at that point in recovery, it's not a bad idea. It's not a bad idea. And, you know, you can get some really cool walking sticks, or make some that, I mean, there are shops that sell walking sticks. I see them at every fair I go to, and they are beautiful. So, something to check out. Number 4, make your injury look like a battlefield dress. I mean, if you're going with a soldier-type character, you can, you know, put your arm in a sling and put some fake blood on it, and, you know, put a bandage over your head and do all of that, and make it look like, well, I just got back from battle, and approach it like you're not just pretending to be a character, you are the character. I mean, really go all out. And it's a good way to hide it. You're essentially making it look worse than it is. But it's not a bad approach. I think it works pretty well. Oh, right. I used to be an adventurer, but then I took an arrow to the knee. That is so true. Always a good one. Always a good one. But speaking of arrows, you know, eye patches are your friend. Yes, you've got to... Always good. So any type of eye injury, eye patch, problem solved. I mean, that's the easiest way. And eye patches are easy to make and easy to purchase for not much money if you want to go that way. Oh, right, Kurt. Yes, don't use too much fake blood. Yes, unless your character is an ancestor of Quentin Tarantino, do not use too much fake blood. So, good rule of thumb. Good rule of thumb. 2, a darn good story. So there you go. Always a good one. It's yes, and there you go, Drew. I mean, did you lose your eye in battle? Have a darn good story ready. I mean, that is one of the easiest ways. Just make it epic. And if you don't want to go all character driven, I mean, hey, make it epic about how you injured yourself at Faire. Just have fun with it. Always do good. Okay, number 1. Be a queen. Decorate your wheelchair as a throne. I mean, one of the coolest things I've seen at fairs over the years is how people have decorated wheelchairs and made them work as a fair prop. And I've seen people dress as royalty and do it as a throne. I've seen people dress it up as a horse and treat it like they're on horseback with a lance ready to joust. I mean, I've seen... there's really some cool ideas and always fun. I mean, the trick is to be creative and to get people's attention. I mean, make it fun. Don't make it something to be a hindrance. Make it a strength. That's always the thing. Yep, dragons for the win. Always good. Always good. Yes. So, dragon wheelchair. I'm liking it. I'm liking it. You know, I'm surprised I haven't seen a merchant, really an artisan work on that and create dragon wheelchairs and sell them, because I think they would do well. I think they would do well. Oh, Kat, that's really great. She tries to match each weekend's theme. Oh, that's brilliant. If you can pull it off, and that's the beauty. I mean, you can turn that kind of thing into a strength. You can make it special, something that nobody else has or could do, so that it's a victory. It's a win. Uh-huh. Wow, okay. See, Liz, yes, the horse, the mobility scooter, I've seen, that is always a good one. That is always a good one. I do love that one. Okay. Well, so that is 7 reasons. So personally, the silliest, really? I don't think this was the silliest. But now you've given me a challenge, so I have to come up with sillier. But I think next week we've got our 7 reasons for 7 reasons to play a plastic recorder at Faire. That's in the book. That's happening. So thank you for the idea, and always fun. Well, I guess I'm already running late as it is. I guess I ended up talking a bit at the beginning about trying to get the show going, but I'm just so glad that I got it working, and shouldn't have a problem next time. It also explains why I was having problems at the before the show with my backup microphone, which I was like, well, the backup will work. It wouldn't work either, and of course, all microphones were denied access. And that's when I hooked up a tertiary microphone, and that didn't work either. That's when I knew there was a problem. Yes. Alicia, prepare for it, because next episode is going to be the recorder show. So I'm sorry, it's not my fault. They asked for it. I was trying not to. Yeah. Oh, Anne McCaffrey? Yes, Chris. I got to meet Anne McCaffrey, around, 12 years, 13 years ago or so, at Dragon Con. The group that did the music for that were the tie-in to her books. They were in the booth right next to mine, and she would come out every morning. So that was really cool. So yeah, I am acquainted with Anne McCaffrey. So definitely. And yes, Drew, your fault. So Alicia, not my fault. But recorders it is. I try. I always try. So, always great to see you all, and have a good one. And now that I know what the problems were, shouldn't have any audio issues next week. So be prepared, enjoy it, and have a fair week and a fair life. Take care.